You know that friend who always cancels plans at the last minute? The one who says they're tired again, busy again, maybe next time. What if I told you they're not avoiding life? They're protecting their nervous system. If the idea of a perfect Friday night for you looks more like silence, comfortable clothes, and zero obligations, this video is about you. Because loving staying at home isn't a flaw, a phase, or a lack of ambition. It's a psychological pattern most people misunderstand. And once you see what's really happening inside the brain, you'll never look at boring the same way again. In American culture, being busy is a badge of honor. Being out, being seen, being productive, being social. It's all part of the performance. If you're not constantly doing something, people assume something is wrong. But what if that pressure isn't proof of a better life, only a louder one? Society labels people who stay home as boring, unmotivated, or disconnected. Yet psychology tells a very different story. Choosing a quiet night in isn't quitting on life. It's rejecting the idea that fulfillment has to be public. And once you step outside that cultural script, you start to realize that a meaningful life doesn't need an audience. It needs alignment. Psychology makes a clear distinction between how people gain and lose energy. Extroverts recharge through stimulation, conversation, movement, noise, people. For them, social interaction adds fuel. But introverts and those who prefer solitude work in the opposite direction. Every interaction, even an enjoyable one, slowly drains their mental battery. That doesn't mean they dislike people. It means their nervous system processes stimulation more intensely. Psychologists call this optimal arousal theory. Some brains need more input to feel balanced. Others function best with less. When stimulation exceeds that threshold, the body shifts into fatigue and overload. That's why home isn't just a preference for these people. It's the only environment where their system can return to baseline. Silence, familiarity, and predictability aren't comforts. They're biological regulation. The reason home feels so powerful has less to do with comfort and more to do with control. Outside, you're constantly adjusting to noise, to expectations, to other people's moods, to conversations you didn't choose but are expected to participate in. The world is unpredictable, and unpredictability keeps the nervous system on alert. At home, that pressure drops. You control the lighting, the volume, the pace, the silence. For people with anxiety, high sensitivity, or chronic mental fatigue, that control isn't indulgence, it's stability. When the environment becomes predictable, the brain stops scanning for threats. That's why the body relaxes the moment you walk through the door. Home isn't where you escape reality. It's where your system finally feels safe enough to shut off survival mode. There's a myth that if you're alone and at home, nothing is happening. But solitude is not empty. It's active in a quieter way. Research consistently shows that people who enjoy time alone tend to be more introspective, more creative, and better at complex problem solving. When external noise disappears, the mind finally has room to organize itself. This is where ideas form, patterns connect, and clarity emerges. Not in crowded spaces filled with distractions, but in still moments that feel unproductive from the outside. A quiet morning, a late-night thought spiral, a familiar routine. These aren't signs of stagnation. They're signs of a mind doing deep work. Stillness doesn't kill creativity. It's where creativity actually begins. But there's an important line that needs to be acknowledged. Staying home can be a source of peace, or it can slowly become a form of avoidance. For some people, solitude isn't chosen. It's enforced by anxiety, past experiences, or a quiet depression that drains the desire to engage. In those cases, home stops being a place of restoration and starts becoming a hiding place. The difference isn't visible from the outside, but internally it's very clear. Does staying home leave you feeling grounded and recharged, or does it feel heavy, isolating, and restrictive? One is self-regulation. The other is self-protection driven by fear. And understanding that distinction matters because peace expands your world. Avoidance slowly shrinks it. People who genuinely love staying at home tend to share a specific psychological profile. They have a low tolerance for unnecessary stimulation and a high capacity for inner engagement. Their minds are active, reflective, and self-sustaining. They don't rely on constant external input to feel alive. Small, repeatable rituals bring them more satisfaction than novelty for novelty's sake. The same coffee cup, the same corner of the couch, the same familiar rhythm to the day. What looks repetitive to others feels grounding to them. These individuals value depth over variety, meaning over momentum. They're not withdrawn from life. They're deeply present within it, just on a quieter frequency. So if you're someone who turns down invitations without guilt, who feels genuinely content on a quiet Saturday, who chooses familiarity over constant stimulation, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not lazy, antisocial, or missing out on some hidden version of life everyone else seems to be living. You're simply wired for peace over performance, depth over noise. Not every meaningful life is loud, fast, or visible. Some of the most grounded people you'll ever meet are the ones who don't need to escape themselves, because they've built a life that actually feels calm enough to stay in. So now I'm curious, do you stay home because it genuinely fulfills you? Or do you think we've all just learned to hide behind comfort? Let me know in the comments. And if this video felt uncomfortably accurate, the next one goes even deeper into why modern life leaves so many people mentally exhausted without knowing why. Click it. You'll recognize yourself immediately.